The Apple Watch Ultra is by far one of the most advanced Apple Watches available in the market, and for a lot of good reasons. It's made out of titanium, it has a battery life that can last several days, it has the largest display, and it's the brightest display ever on any Apple Watch. And so in today's video, I'm gonna go ahead and run through the complete list of all the additional features that this thing has from A to all the way to Z. So if you're an Apple Watch veteran, they just upgraded from an older Apple Watch to this, or maybe if you're new to the Apple Watch world, this is the complete guide where I'm gonna run through everything that this amazing watch can do, so you will be able to easily utilize this device to its full potential. Let's go ahead and get started. And yes, timestamps will be in the video description down below, and we're gonna go ahead and start from the new features and work our way up all the way to the more complex stuff so everybody can easily follow and get caught up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. Let's start off with the button layout. So by double tapping the digital crown, this will allow you to go back to your previously open app, and vice versa. And this power button right here, if you actually tap on it, it will be, by default, it's your recently open apps. But if you actually launch the app on your iPhone and go to Docs, you can select your favorites or your recent docs. If you select favorites, this is a clever way to favorite your most used apps. Now the digital crown, if you actually rotate the digital crown upwards, this is how you quickly go into night mode, and vice versa. Note, this only works with the Wayfinder watch face. Maybe in the near future, more of these other watch faces will also support this night shift ability. Now you may be wondering, why is my Apple Watch this way? By default, the digital crown and the power button was supposed to be here. I decided to actually go into the settings and go in general and change the orientation from this side to this side. So if you like to also go ahead and do that, that's how you do it. And the benefit of this is, one, I found myself accidentally constantly using the action button when I'm trying to access my digital crown and press down on it, because I would usually do this. So because of that, I switched it to this orientation than how it is by default. And from my personal experience, I just find it easier to operate this way as well. And if you actually launch the Apple Watch app on your iPhone, you can actually change the action button to do other things. Right now I have mine set to workout, and the workout selected is the elliptical. You have all these different workouts to select from, or you can actually make it so it actually launches the workout app by itself, but not the workout. All personal preference, but that's how I have mine set up. Now if you actually tap on the action, you see you have access to the stopwatch to be quickly launched, waypoint, backtrack, dive, flashlight, shortcut, or none. If the action button becomes annoying, you can just set it as a blank. And depending on the action you select, if you go down to gestures, it will actually show you the quick preview of what that action button can do with that app that you selected. It's different, so I'm not going to cover every single one of them, but it shows you a little image right here, so it's really easy to follow. Then if you go down where it says hold to turn on, if you hold on the Siren button, the action button, for 5 seconds, a 5-second timer will start and the siren will begin ringing. If you like to disable that, you can just disable it right here. Now you just have to manually slide to activate the siren. Now something interesting about the Siren, it actually has 2 different sounds of decibels that could deliver. The Apple Watch is smart enough to detect and identify the environment you're in. So if you're indoors, the Siren's not going to go full out in its high rated 86 decibels. It's actually going to be lower if you're indoors. If you're outdoors, the microphone will detect the wind noise and such, so the decibel will go max out to 86 decibels, so to make sure you're actually heard. So if you toggle this indoors and you're not impressed, that's why. It gets louder. Now if you do the power button and you continue holding, this will actually toggle the SOS. You can enable this or have this disabled, all personal preference. From my experience, when I'm working out, sometimes I do toggle the SOS, so sometimes I do disable it. If you wish to do that, just go on your iPhone, go into the emergency SOS section, and where it says side button to dial, disable it. And now, whenever you actually press and hold, it won't do that. But you have to manually slide in case you're in an emergency. Now, crash detection is new this year for the Apple Watch. The Series 8 and the SE2, as well as the Ultra, both have this. And if you go down here, this is where you actually go ahead and enable that and see if you do have it enabled. And in the fault detection, same thing. You can enable it manually here. This is where you go in and check. You can have it always on or only during workouts. All personal preference. And then if you wish to include your medical ID, edit contacts and health. This is where you can actually go ahead and update that information. As well as if you go down, you can actually add your emergency contact to the people that we contact in case of an emergency. But real quick, I'd like to give a special shout out and thank you to Buckle and Band for not just sponsoring today's video, but also giving us 2 of their bands to choose from that they have available on their website. So these 2 bands are compatible on both the Series Apple Watch and the SE. And if you select the larger band version, it is fully compatible to be used on the Apple Watch Ultra, which I have right here. Now this is the MILA Apple Watch band, and it comes available in brown, black, and more color choices to choose from on their website. The one we have here is the brown one. It's handmade and it's using the finest genuine light brown suede for a realistic yet fine look. It's handcrafted with care. Now, if you want a active wear focused band that you can use for work and to the gym without having to forget to swap the band before you head to the gym, you definitely have to check out their active wear, as it's actually made of silicone back here, but it's color matched so perfectly that it also matches with the genuine leather that's on top. And thanks to this combo, it's not just sweat, but also water resistant. And then if you don't like this brown color, a black one is also available. So if you wish to find out where you can get yours, make sure to check out the link in the video description down below. Now let's get back to our video. Now low power mode is new for this year for the Apple Watch, including the Ultra. The Ultra can go up to 60 hours when the future update comes out. But as of right now, to enable the default low power mode, just go in Control Center, tap the battery life percentage, and you're able to enable it right here. When low power mode is enabled, basically all your notifications will take longer to be active on your Apple Watch, so it may take like 5 minutes for you to receive your text message. And then some of the background apps will slow down, as well as the heart rate sensors and such will also slow down. They just won't activate as often. So that means it's not going to always gather data as quickly as possible, but this is where you actually go ahead and turn on. You have additional options here too. If you like to have it for 1 or 2 days or 3 days, you totally can do so. So this is how you go ahead and do that. And to reverse back to the regular mode for the Apple Watch, you just repeat the process and disable that. Now, new this time for WatchOS 9 is if you actually hold down the power button, not only is the power button or the way to turn off different, you tap on this little icon above here, and this is for the slider to power off. But when you turn off the Apple Watch, wait a couple of minutes. If you tap on the digital crown, it will actually display at the time. This was the old school reserve power mode. You still have access to it. It just means you just have to turn off your Apple Watch and just turn it back on to go back and using your Apple Watch. Now back on our Apple Watch, whenever you see a red dot right here, that just means you have notifications. If you see additional icons over here, if you bring down Control Center and you tap on the top part, it will actually list you the icons and what they mean. Now in Control Center, you have the freedom to rearrange these icons however you like to. You could even remove them as well if you don't like them. So if you find some of these shortcuts just in the way or just never use, you can hide them like so. And to re-add them, just tap the little green icon. But some of the most useful ones is this one, the Pin My iPhone. Now whenever you toggle this, it plays a new louder sound than ever before. If you tap and hold, this will also toggle your iPhone's flash. Now the flashlight app, if you actually launch it right here through the Control Center, the flashlight app is 2 times brighter than ever before. If you swipe, you have other controls, other settings, and just slide down to dismiss it. Now with theater mode enabled, if you go down, click on it. If you cover up the display, it's going to turn your always on display off, so it's pitch black. And if you get a haptic feedback, your watch will also go on silent. But if you just use the digital crown, you can take a peek up the display so you can read your notifications without disturbing others around with a bright display. And to reverse it, just repeat the process. School time mode also received the same update, where whenever you enable this, it just turns your Apple Watch into a normal watch. It will tell you the time, as you see right here, as well as the date. And to exit, you just long press. So this is supposed to help you eliminate yourself from distraction, as it will also turn your other Apple devices in, switch them into do not disturb mode. If you don't have your iPhone with you and you want to quickly connect to an open Wi-Fi network, by long pressing on the Wi-Fi icon will quickly take you to the Wi-Fi section right here, where you can actually select and connect to a new Wi-Fi source. And then of course, next to that is the cellular reception. If you activate your cellular plan with your Apple Watch Ultra, which all of them support cellular, you'll see all your status right here. Just one quick heads up, If you leave your iPhone behind, the Ultra is known to drain its battery faster if you don't have your iPhone with you. Now, if you own a pair of AirPods, if you actually pair them to the Apple Watch by simply tapping the AirDrop icon and select them, you can actually switch between the different modes right here without even having to touch the headset itself. But don't worry, if you have third-party, non-Apple headphones you like to pair to the Apple Watch, you totally can do so, as there is 32 gigabytes of internal storage into this thing. So you can actually store your playlist or podcast onto the device itself and leave your iPhone behind, or you can even stream with it too, depending on the app. So if you like to connect Bluetooth headphones in general, or even speakers, just go on the AirDrop AirPlay icon and just scroll all the way down to connect a device, and here we'll quickly launch Bluetooth and just make sure that device is on Bluetooth pairing mode, and you should be able to detect it right here in devices. Now, another thing, if you want to pair a Bluetooth wireless keyboard, your Apple Watch does support that. Not sure why you want to do that, but it is compatible. It's the same process how you pair wireless Bluetooth headphones. Now, if your device is not on silent and you quickly receive a notification, if you cover up your wrist and your Apple Watch and hold it for a couple seconds, it will give you a haptic feedback and your device will automatically be put into silent. This is also a clever way to quickly silence an incoming call as well without picking it up. And if you cover one more time, the call will go away. Now, to make sure you have this feature enabled, if you're trying this and it's not doing anything, you have to go on your Apple Watch settings. So on our iPhone, go into Sound and Haptics, and make sure cover to mute is enabled, and now you should be good. Now, airplane mode. If you click on this, both your devices will automatically go into airplane mode. No Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi. If you like to actually separate the two on your iPhone, on the Apple Watch app settings, go into General, Airplane, and disable Mirror iPhone. Here you can actually decide if you want Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to be enabled on your Apple Watch when airplane mode is indeed enabled. And will also separate the mode from your iPhone. And then if you go back, you could do the exact same thing with focus. You can allow it to mirror your iPhone. So if you select a focus on one device, it will mirror it on that device. You could disable it right here. So now all the focuses are separated. Now, some of these apps you download on your iPhone will automatically, you may already notice, will automatically download and install on the Apple Watch. If you don't like that, if you like to free up some space or keep your Apple Watch layout simple, in automatic app installs, just disable that, and now we'll no longer do that. But if there's an app that you do want to install with your iPhone, just scroll all the way down, you'll be able to see the apps you can install right there. Now if we go back in Control Center, the little ear icon, if you have a pair of AirPods, you can actually monitor the decibel levels right here on the audio that you're listening to. Now, other things you could do on the Control Center is, this is how you toggle walkie-talkie mode. If you send somebody an invitation, you and that person could easily interrupt each other throughout the day, so long as the walkie-talkie mode is enabled, and you guys will be able to hear each other and communicate. Now the next one is the text size. Here you have a quick access to adjust the text size. So if there's some apps that are smaller than others, you can quickly launch Control Center and increase the size. Now this bell icon, when you have a pair of AirPods or whatever audio source you're listening to with AirPods that's paired to your Apple Watch, with this enabled, Siri will verbally read out loud your notifications and your text messages to the AirPods that you're wearing or headphones. And then no matter what app you're in, you're always able to launch Control Center by long pressing on the bottom, or even your notifications by holding the top portion. And if you like to remove all your notifications, just go all the way on the very top, clear all. And back on the watch face, by simply swiping from the bottom like so, you could quickly switch between the different watch faces you have. And if you like to share some of these watch faces, by long pressing, this will actually take you to the little editor. But this up arrow icon, this allows you to actually share that watch face to the individual you'd like to share it to, or you could tell them to share you their watch face so you can have it on your wrist. If you like to organize them, just tap, you can actually rearrange it just like so and just drop it in place. And then in addition to that, if you have a lot of watch faces, slide up, you can delete. And then for app view, if you long press on any of the blank spaces, you can actually select grid or list view. List view, everything is alphabetical order. Grid view, you have the freedom to navigate really quickly. So there's that. If you long press again, if you tap edit, you could actually delete some of these third-party ones as well as some first parties and rearrange it to your own personal preference. And on the list view, just slide and you could delete them this way without having to go on the edit section. Now, just like the Series 8, the Ultra also has a body temperature sensor, which can periodically measure your wrist temperature and environment temperature as well. Now, this is primarily used for cycle tracking. So if you use this app primarily for that, you're going to see a lot more data. However, I have noticed if you go into the health app and go to body measurement, you'll actually see a missing feature right here where it says wrist temperature. Not sure if it's an upcoming feature because I have been wearing this Apple Watch for 5 days straight and longer, and there still is no data, which could indicate a new software feature is coming out in the near future. Now, if you're kind of upset or frustrated if you find out that your Apple Watch didn't charge to 100% overnight, that is due to the fact you may have battery optimization enabled. So to disable this, all you gotta do is just go into your settings, scroll into the battery section on your Apple Watch. Here, not only will you actually go in and monitor the battery health, so if you're buying like a used one, you can make sure that the battery is good in terms of overall health, but you could disable the optimized charging limit right here. So the pros and cons to having this enabled and disabled. The cons being that battery optimization will make sure that the battery life of the Apple Watch, depending on your environment, how your usage is with your device, the battery life is smart enough to detect and preserve as much battery as much as possible to give you the maximum battery longevity. Now, if you don't care about the longevity of your lifespan that you can achieve with your Apple Watch, if you don't plan on having your Apple Watch for longer than like 2 years, turning this off will degrade the battery faster, but you'll always have your Apple Watch at 100% every single morning. So that's what that does. Now, if you're experiencing any funniness whenever you use an app, like an app is just acting funny, you can technically close an app by simply just sliding and hit the X icon. It'll go away, but it's like in its hibernation mode because when you click on it again, it resumes back. To force quit an app, what you have to do is launch that app, be on the app, hold down the power button, and then press and hold the digital crown. That will force close the app, and now when you relaunch it, everything has to reload. But now if your Apple Watch is just not responsive at all, just hold on digital crown and the power button at the same time, keep holding it, and your screen will turn black and it just reboots itself. That's how you force quit and force reset your Apple Watch. Now when it comes to activating Siri, yes, you could tap and hold the digital crown, so prop Siri. You can also go into the Siri section on your phone, enable it so it has the raise to speak ability. Now whenever you raise your wrist above your, or like close to your mouth like so, you can actually request Siri whatever request you like to ask it, like you typically would. The other method is you can also enable the hey, that name functionality to just verbally request Siri to start listening. You can enable this, all personal preference. Now you'll be surprised how advanced Siri is on your Apple Watch, as you can actually request Siri to launch web browsers. If you say Google or .com of some type of website, Siri can do that, as it can launch WebKit, as you have almost full capability of browsing the web on your wrist. And in terms of intelligence, Siri is actually very capable even on the Apple Watch. Like you could ask Siri to translate languages, do mathematical questions. Siri is actually really capable even on the Apple Watch. And if you're a user who uses the Apple TV a lot, the Apple TV remote actually integrated in the OS of the Apple Watch. Just launch the controller app, as this one right here, and you have full capability to control your Apple TV with your Apple Watch from here. Now with the Apple Watch Ultra, you have the new Depth app. Now this app will automatically engage and activate as soon as the Apple Watch detects that you're in water, like submerged in water. And if you actually launch the Apple Watch app on your iPhone and you go all the way down to the Depth app, here you have the frames to change, like Celsius from Fahrenheit and etc. So it allows you to personalize it. And then you also have the Compass app. The Compass app got fully overhauled, honestly, where if you actually rotate the digital crown, you can actually zoom out from your compass distance. So here you have the frames to place different markers, so if you're backtracking, you know where to go. Here you can start it, pause the backtracking, and if you end it, you can actually select the backtrack capability, so it'll actually leave you a red line where you can actually follow to head back where you started. But if you need a leveler, like to level paint frames and stuff like that, if you actually tap this little line icon on the corner, you have access to the incline, so 0 is a good level point if you're trying to level your frames. But here you'll find additional information as well as your latitude and longitude and more stuff, which I'm going to have censored due to privacy reasons. Now, in terms of settings to adjust to add additional features to your Apple Watch, there is hourly chimes. By going into the clock section in the Apple Watch app, here you can actually go ahead and enable chimes. You can have the selection between bird chirps or bells. If you leave on silent, it'll just give you a haptic feedback on the hour, every hour. So chimes is basically like a grandfather clock. It's a great way so you don't lose track of time. Highly recommend trying it out and see if you like it. Now down here you can also enable speak to time when your Apple Watch is not on silent, when you have control with silent mode or always speak. This is personal preference, but always speak or with silent mode enabled. Since my watch is on silent, if I take 2 fingers and tap on it, Siri is not going to verbally read out loud the time, but if I unmute it, do the same thing, Siri will actually speak out loud the time. So that's basically what it does.
1:16 p.m.
If you actually go into the tech time, you can actually select voice code. Now, whenever your device is on silent, you take 2 fingers and actually do that. It'll actually tell you the time via voice code. You can select digital, so it'll actually like tap you the number of times for the hour and then minutes. So you have an understanding what time it is based off of just feeling it. And if we go back, Monograph. If you like to create a custom little short nickname for your watch faces, you totally can do so. Like I have mine just set as Eddie. If I select a supported watch face, I made an entire dedicated video showing you the different supported watch faces, so you can go ahead and watch right here. But like the contour as a fine example, if I go to the complications side, select personalization, and here you go, the custom watch face with a custom text. But now let's say for example the haptic feedback, the vibration motor is too light, you don't even notice it, you can actually increase the strength. If you go into sound and haptics, and where it says haptic alerts, select prominent, and now the vibration is more aggressive and longer. Now there's a lot of watch faces, but one of them actually have one hidden feature that's really underestimated, and that is any of the Nike watch faces. If you tap the little Nike check mark, this will quickly take you to the Nike Club app. So treat it like a complication, but this is fixed to the Nike Club app. But that's one of the most overlooked one. But if you like the complete list of watch faces with hidden features, check out that video. I highly recommend it. Now, if you use the workout app a lot, the tips and tricks that I developed is basically this. To bypass the 3-second timer, just tap on the display. And if you're about to start another workout, don't end that workout. Just tap the plus icon and just keep it all at once. And if you like to create segments, you can either do this, double tap the display and it will create separate segments. And depending on the type of workout you're doing, if you use the digital crown and go down, it'll give you a lot of data. Now by default, the automatic workout detection should be enabled, where the Apple Watch will automatically correct you the time when you start your workout. If you forgot to hit record, it could do that. But to verify and check if you actually do have that enabled, on the Apple Watch app on your iPhone, go to the workout section and scroll down to start workout reminder, and now you're good. You can either do this for the pause function as well as detect gym equipment as well. You can also change the units of measure too if you wish, and modify the heart rate zone. I just like leaving it by default. Now for the Ultra Apple Watch, you can actually use precision start. When this is enabled, you can start a workout on the Apple Watch manually. Once you select a workout, start it by pressing the action button. So you can actually do that too. Same goes for auto pause. You can enable this so the Apple Watch will automatically pause and resume back once you're resuming. So you don't have to actually press to pause. Now, if you don't see your workout on this list, if you go on the Apple Watch app and you go all the way down to the very bottom, you can actually add a workout, and there's so many to choose from. You can even modify it too if you really like, by tapping the 3-dot icon. Now, if you actually use the calculator app and you like to switch between tips with other people, if you actually go into the settings, tap calculator, you can actually switch between tips or percentage. Now when using iMessage, you can reply with the keyboard on the screen, which actually does support scribble. Or if you had hand off mode enabled, or if you look at your iPhone, you have the capability to actually use your iPhone's keyboard and it'll actually send that message to your wrist. You can also switch between scribbles or the keyboard. If you find yourself being a faster scribbler, you can totally write down your text like so, select the text, and use the digital crown to use Siri suggestion in case something came out wrong. You can either use dictation as well. You can activate the microphone like so. You have the emojis. And then in addition to that, if you tap the little app icon, you have access to GIFs, memojis, as well as this heart animation as well, where you can actually draw, or if you actually use your 2 fingers, it will actually use the heart rate sensor and the same pulse as your heart rate. It will make a digital version of it. You can send it to a person, or if you do it again and you pull your fingers down, you'll break the heart like so. You also have a fireball effect if you hold with 1 finger. And on the top right here, if you actually tap here, it'll give you access to a color wheel. If you tap and hold on one of the color wheels, you can actually pinpoint it with a hue. And lastly, of course, you have access to the quick replies. If you keep going all the way down, you can send that person your location or view their information. Now, if you'd like to add more on your quick reply list, go on your iPhone, scroll all the way down to the messages section right here, and where it says default replies, here you could actually continue adding replies. And as I stated, if you have handoff mode enabled, if you actually launch the app switcher on your iPhone, you can tap on Messenger and you'll resume where you left off on your Apple Watch to your iPhone. But wait, there's more on the Messenger side. So if you like to see the timestamp of each message, just slide it like so. And then of course, if you like to react to it, you can just long press and you have access to these as well. And you can also forward it. Now, if you receive an incoming call and you pick up, if you like to switch from your Apple Watch to your iPhone, just tap the little phone icon, it will automatically do it. Or if you receive an incoming call and you like to send that conversation immediately to the your iPhone, you always tap on this 3-dot icon. You can tap select answer on iPhone. When you do this, the line is answered just there or left on hold until you slide. Now, if you use Apple Pay, double tapping the power button will actually launch the Apple Pay app. And if you click and hold the card, you can actually switch to the default card display as well. Well, one of the cons by having the Apple Pay is obviously it requires you to have a passcode. Now, this could be a pro and a con. If you're just using a passcode generally, there's a couple of cool things that the passcode can do. If you go on your iPhone, if you actually go into the passcode setting, here you can actually enable it where your iPhone can unlock your Apple Watch, so you don't have to enter the passcode on your wrist. There's been a lot of times where I forgot to enter my passcode and unlock my Apple Watch. By having this enabled, I don't miss my other notifications and such. So this definitely does come in handy. If you want your Apple Watch to unlock your iPhone, you can do the exact same thing too. You just have to go in your iPhone settings this time and go into Face ID and passcode. Go ahead and log in. And you could enable the Apple Watch you want to have the ability to unlock your iPhone, where it says unlock Apple Watch, just enabled, and now you're good to go. And if somebody unwantedly unlocked a device, you can always just tap the little cards that pop up right here. Now, if you want to use Apple Pay hands-free, you can actually do so. If you have to go on your iPhone Apple Watch app and go into the accessibility section, and you actually enabled assistive touch, if you go down where it says enable confirm with assistive touch and hit continue with your Apple Watch, and just go ahead and double tap the setup button right here on the power button on your Apple Watch to confirm, enter your passcode. And once you do that, still in the assistive touch, make sure you go into customize menu, and where it says add action on favorites, select Apple Pay. Now, once it's all set up, clench your fist twice to activate. A menu should pop up, and just pinch your index finger and then clench to confirm, and there you go. Quickly, hands-free access to Apple Pay. And if you like to disable assistive touch, now if you actually launch the control center, you go all the way down to this icon, you can actually enable it or disable it right here. so you don't have to go in through the settings. Now if an alarm goes off, you could dismiss it by tapping the X icon, slide down, or just cover it with your palm. Now if for whatever said reason your display is just unresponsive, or you wish your display was even bigger, if you go on your iPhone, actually go into the accessibility section, there actually is a mirroring option right here where you can see Apple Watch mirroring. Enable this, give it a couple of seconds, it'll connect, and you'll be able to fully control your Apple Watch from your iPhone. And yes, you do have access to the side buttons as well. So if your Apple Watch is acting funny, your screen is just not responsive, and you need to have access to it some way to troubleshoot it, this is a clever way to do so. Now I know the list is already long enough, but there's still more features that the Apple Watch has. One of which, if you go into the settings, go all the way down to hand washing. By enabling hand washing mode, based off the movement and the gestures and the microphone, the Apple Watch is smart enough to detect and identify that you're washing your hands, and will automatically start a 20-second timer and will buzz you once you're done. So everybody knows 20 seconds is the recommended amount to fully wash your hands and kill all the germs and bacteria. So your Apple Watch will actually start a 20-second timer, so every hand wash is successful. If not, it will send you a notification letting you know that you didn't complete the 20 seconds. You should go back. In addition to that, if you go into the noise section this time, if you enabled environment sound measurement, with this enabled, the microphone, the Apple Watch, is always constantly listening to your environment and will send you a push notification if it sees that you've been exposed to high decibel levels for X amount of time, and will recommend you to go to a quiet zone and let your ears recover. This is a safety feature to preserve your ears, to make sure you have good ears throughout your entire lifespan. So the Apple Watch will monitor that for you. But if this becomes annoying and you always wear ear protection, you can disable it from here. Now, I don't know about you, but the mindfulness app, if this becomes annoying, you can actually go in here right here and just disable it. Or you can modify it to your own personal preference. So if you do like taking those breathe breaks and such, you could adjust it here, or you could disable it like so. Now this Apple Watch is equipped with always on display. So if you cover it, you'll be able to still take a quick glance at your Apple Watch, see your complications and such. If you like to customize it or have this feature entirely turned off, you go on the Apple Watch, but we're gonna go ahead and use our iPhone app one more time and go on display and brightness, and where it says always on, turn it off. That's how you can do that. And where it says wrist down, show complication data, if you don't want to show that sensitive information of like your calorie goal and stuff like that, like your ring and such, you can always enable it right here. You can select certain individual apps if you like, or you can turn it off completely. So all that is now private whenever always on display is enabled. Same goes for apps, and you can do the exact same thing with notifications. And then for additional privacy, whenever you receive a notification, if you want your notification to look like this, where you actually have to tap to confirm you want to view the message, all you have to do is just go into the settings, go to notifications, and scroll down to where it says tap to show full notifications, and there you have it. And if you don't like it, just reverse it. Now take screenshots, power button and digital crown at the same time. It'll take a screenshot and it'll send that image to your camera roll. If the screenshot option become annoying to you, you can always disable it by just going into the general section in your Apple Watch app on your iPhone and just disable screenshots. Now, just like a real watch, if you like to increase the time, offset it by a couple of minutes, you can totally do so to separate it from your iPhone without adjusting your iPhone's time. So just by going into the clock section on your Apple Watch setting app and scroll down to clock, here is where you can actually offset it. So I have mine 5 minutes in advance. Then with the Find My app, you can actually use it on your Apple Watch. If you misplace your Apple Watch, you can actually allow it to play sound. It will utilize the speakers and the heart rate sensor. You can actually quickly locate it. Now, if you wish to learn how to store your playlist to the Apple Watch in its internal storage, it's super easy to do so. Just go on the Apple Watch app, and you could either enable it to automatically add by checkmarking this, or manually select your playlist or albums or other categories that you have on your iPhone if you're using Apple Music. And then if you ever find yourself having to scroll all the way up from the bottom. If you tap the top portion, it will automatically roll you all the way to the top. And then, most importantly, if you're selling your Apple Watch, giving it to a friend or a family or something, that's a fine example. The proper way to unpair your Apple Watch is to select the Apple Watch. From this selected screen, tap the little eye icon and just tap on unpair Apple Watch. It's going to prompt you to enter your iCloud password and let it do its thing, and you're good to go. There you guys have it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you got some good useful information out of this video, you know what to do. Greatly appreciate it if you could actually leave this video a like, because those help me out a lot. And get subscribed, especially if you enjoy a lot of tech videos just like this. If you haven't yet picked up your Apple Watch, or you're curious what type of accessories I have on my watch, I'll be sure to include my favorite accessories in the description as well. Now, if you wish to watch more, feel free to check out this video over here. So I go through all the most useful hidden features, some cool tips and tricks you can do on the brand new OS of iOS 16 for your iPhones. And in the video next to that one, that's just a video YouTube is recommending specifically for you. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.